Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero and our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all of that good nerdy stuff. And we're in the post Captain America Brave New World where it's come out, it's kind of done its thing. We also have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Invincible both running this week, and we are gearing up for even more, superhero goodness in the coming months. So it's a good time to be a comic book nerd. Let me just say, we're having a great time with it. But of course, I'm not here by myself. We're gonna welcome back to the podcast my good friend Corey Roy. Corey, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. As always glad to be back to talk some geeky goodness, some nerdy stuff, man. So this is exciting, man. I'm ready to get into this.
Yeah, man. You been up to anything nerdy lately?
You know what? Look, I have my first Funko.
Nice.
I've got Stone Cold Steve Austin. For you guys out there listening, look, I got Stone Cold Steve Austin. So excited about it. And you were right, Mo. The last time I talked to you, because you got tons. So I'm curious, what was your first one? This is my first one, and I'm so excited, man. I got Stone Cold Steve Austin, my first one. So that's what I've been up to.
Well, my first one, I don't even remember at this point. I can't even remember. It's one of those back there.
Yeah, you got a lot.
Awesome. I've had some of those for quite a while. It might actually be a Black Widow, like a 10th anniversary. It was an MCU 10th anniversary Black Widow. It's like a golden one, but it could be before that. I don't remember on it, to be honest. I just have a bunch at this point. Yeah. I think what am I doing murder this week? I'm behind as hell on Invincible. I know that. Watching Spider-Man. I think that may be it. I've been really too busy, I think, to do much nerdy. But I know one thing. I am going to try out the new, Fatal Fury? City of Wolves beta test dropped today. And of course, I haven't played it yet because I've been running around. But I'm definitely going to get on there and at least try some combo trials. I suck at competitive games, so I guess I can give somebody, a punching bag. I don't know. I love fighting games, but I'm bad at them. So it's like, it's a weird love-hate relationship because I hate losing too. See, so it's like, I hate losing, love fighting games, and I'm bad. So
it's a great combination.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not fun. But I think that's about it for me, nerdy. So, we are going to talk about the news of the week for superhero stuff because this is a supercast. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about all of that good nerdy stuff. We got some this has been a pretty good week, I think. So we're going to cover these items. One, what does Octavia Spencer have to do with Captain America 4? I know you haven't seen it yet, Corey, but we're going to see why her name came up when it comes to Captain America Brave New World. 2, we're going to talk about the official release schedule for Daredevil Born Again, and what does this mean for Marvel TV and their strategy for their television release. And number 3, speaking of Marvel TV, there's some rumblings over there about some characters returning, some very popular characters returning in the wake of Daredevil Born Again. And also, number 4 at Marvel TV, it's less than good revelation about some other projects that they have been developing. And let me just say, not super happy about this news. We're also going to talk about Captain America 4 box office for its opening weekend. And what do we think this means for the overall box office for this movie? Then we're going to talk about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. The final episodes landed yesterday, and we're going to review the season. And then I'm going to give my 2 cents about Captain America Brave New World. because I've seen it. And we've had about a week. It's time for us to talk about this. So, uh, Corey, there's a lot of stuff. You ready
Yes.
to get into it, man?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So, Octavia Spencer, first of all, one of our queens. I think that's a
Mhm.
fair thing to say. She's been in a lot of dope stuff. She goes back to an old school comic book movie, and I bet most of y'all don't even remember because you haven't looked at it in a long time. But and it's a bit of a small speaking role in the first Spider-Man with the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Corey, you
Mm.
remember seeing her?
I do not. Man, I'm still got my brain racking now.
Well,
What?
she is the woman at the wrestling match where she's signing up Peter Parker, or of course he's Spider Man and his stuff. She's the woman that says like, "Oh, you got to be in there for 3 minutes." That's her. Octavia Spencer
Really?
is back. Back in the day. Like I was just saying,
Mm.
she been doing this. That's all I'm saying. But what you don't know is that she also had a little small but significant thing to do with Captain America: Brave New World, and it is this: Julius Ono, who is the director of Captain America: Brave New World, a black man. Let's call it out too. Support our black filmmakers. Um, he basically is saying that he got on at Marvel because Octavia Spencer put in a good word for him with Kevin Feige, which got him a meeting, and got him eventually got the job, and to the point that this is real. If you get to the end, the credits where they're special recognition and thanks and whatever, she has a line that says special thanks, and you're just like, and if you didn't know this, you'd be like, the hell did Octavia Spencer have to do with this? She ain't in this movie. But did I miss it? Nope, she's not in the movie. Literally, she opened a door for another person, and he thanked her in the credits. That's which I think is dope. So this is a quick little thing, and I just wanted to share that. And I just wanted to see, Corey, what you thought about this revelation about, again, one of our queens.
I think it's fantastic, man. I mean, getting a special thanks during the credits of a Marvel movie is huge. And you got a black director, his name Julius, I think, showing his love and appreciation. He's basically saying, thank you for putting me in this position because I wouldn't be here without you. And I just love that, man. Black love spreading through. You can't beat that, man. So shout out to Julius for getting that. And shout out to Octavia for putting him in that position. And shout out to just love, man. You got to have that, man. Black community. So it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's especially, look, we're in a time and age. We're in an environment that's starting to get a little more hostile. To diversity and whatever. So it's good that we have a stat, because it ain't no doubt she's a force. She's been Oscar
Mhm.
nominated and all that stuff. It's a given. Octavia Spencer, she's a force. Her name means something. Her word means something. She's got connections. All of that. So it's good to see us supporting each other, but also like getting somebody who it's not like he never directed anything before, but getting an invitation to the big league, so to speak, to a blockbuster film is very hard. You know, it's very, very difficult. So just getting his foot in the door so he could sell himself and pitch himself as the right person for this project. That's dope because she saw something in him when they collaborated previously, and just maintaining those relationships I think is really important in an industry where marginalization is still a thing.
Yeah.
For the hands ups, the hands up, the pulling up each other and like lifting each other up is super important. So, um, you know, just shout out to Octavia Spencer and also Julius Ona for really letting us know what it was all about. So that was really cool. Um, so moving on to our next topic, which is um the official release dates for the first 6 episodes. Not all episodes. Not It's 9 episodes for the first season. The first 6 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, they have been released, and it's an interesting, I think, lineup because you would think, look, week to week, right? They did that with Agatha all along. They did WandaVision. They did that with Falcon and Winter Soldier. They may start out with a couple episodes, but then they proceed to like week to week. However, we just finished watching Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and they dropped 2 episodes, then three, then 2, right? So for 10 episodes to
Mhm.
be done in a month. And it seems like some similar thought processes are going on over at Marvel Marvel TV, where they are dropping somewhat similarly. So they're doing March 4th is going to be episode 1 and 2. This is not a surprise because they, like a lot of streamers, are dropping 2 episodes to premiere, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Then they're doing the 11th and the 18th, 11th episode 3, 18th episode 4, and then on the 25th dropping 2 episodes, 5 and 6. And we don't know how the rest of them are going to drop. But we have 3 more after that. So I wonder what the hell this is all about. Is this what kind of release strategy is this? Is this because episode 5 and 6 are naturally a companion piece to each other, and so we need to see them one after the other, so that'll be a satisfying experience? Is this like them trying to shorten the release so it doesn't like bump up on something else that they're trying to do? I'm very curious as to what this is all about, and I don't know, Corey. What's your speculation about why this is happening the way it is?
That's a really good question. First off, though, I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited. I really loved Daredevil when it was on Netflix. So to get this back is extremely special. Look, they're saying March is National Women's Month. It's Daredevil month. So let's go. I'm telling you, I'm ready. But this whole thing, after watching your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I know the way that Marvel is doing their television series now, they have showrunners that are really coming into the forefront of making sure this is so. I think this is a strategy of them making sure that they're giving us shows that go together, and instead of spoon feeding us and some, because we all know those previous ones that they were showing, some of those episodes were cutting off right in the middle of stuff
Hmm.
just because they were trying to do another episode. I hope that this is a new strategy where they're really trying to give us episodes that go together and make sense to make the story continue on, because we'll talk about it later. Like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, they gave it to us in like almost like chapters of chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was or act 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was very appetizing to get it that way. So I like this. So give me more.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it as I like to think it's story driven, you know, but
Me too. I sure hope so.
I also look at Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and I'm like, y'all could have dropped these episode to episode and it would have been just as good. To me, I think we would have been talking a lot more, like they did with X-Men 97. X-Men
Hmm.
97, they dropped 1, 2, so forth. And every episode was like, let me come back to this. Let me come back to this. I think Spider-Man would have been the same way. And I think Daredevil, obviously people are going to be like that just because of its window into the MCU is a lot grittier, is a lot, people are a lot more interested in that, a little more grounded stuff that a little easier to understand in terms of like, it's not a lot of fantastical things. I mean, you can see this with Echo, which I know
Yeah.
both of us, we talked about it and we were like, this is cool, but like, it wasn't awesome, but the viewership was good, like really good for that show. So
Mhm.
clearly, people are going to gravitate towards these things. And I'm just like, well, isn't it better to do week to week and build up that viewership and that the buzz around it? The only way I could think about it it's either it's a story decision or
Mhm.
it's butting up against something else and they don't want to step on the toes of whatever the next thing is. And this is a very packed year for Marvel, Marvel TV. Marvel TV's doing the bulk of the work for Marvel this year. They're putting out like 6 things this year, if I'm not mistaken, or five or
Yeah.
6 things. So they
Mhm.
actually they have a very busy schedule, and yeah, we're getting 3 Marvel movies this year. So in between those 3 things happening, they've got to fit themselves in, and again, not step on each other's toes. Um, I don't know which one it is. But you know what? Why am I complaining about getting 2 episodes of Daredevil in one day? That don't make any sense. That
Hey
make no
man, I'm like,
sense.
look,
Why am I
getting
complaining
two
about that?
episodes of Daredevil is like finding out you got extra fries in your McDonald's bag that you didn't pay for. Man, I'm happy. Look, let's go. I'm good.
it's it's pretty much yes. Like I'm this is a stupid thing to complain about. So I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm just gonna be like, clearly Brad Winderbaum and the rest of the people over at Marvel Television, they know what they're doing. So if they think this is the way we should see it, I'm down with it, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. So it's coming up. We got another week
Yeah,
until I think it's the 4th. So we're probably
of
about
course. Yep,
10, 12, 13 days away
yep. That's exactly right.
before we can see all the hallway fights. So
Yes. Which are so good. I
yeah.
can't wait for those.
um. So moving to our next thing. And it's actually related to Daredevil Born Again, in a way.
Hmm?
Um. Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil was a Netflix thing, right? So, and it was very successful, arguably the best Netflix show, and it was the first and the best Netflix show, and essentially spawned the other Netflix shows. Like it was a plan, but you know what I'm saying? It was successful. Then we got Jessica Jones, we got Luke Cage, we got Iron Fist, um, then we got Punisher, and to varying, like Iron Fist is the least well received, but all the other ones are pretty well received in one way or another. Um, and so the Netflix Marvel shows have to be viewed as a success. They were a definite success. So much so that here we are years later, Kevin Feige's like, I want to see Daredevil again. Let's make Born Again. We get Born Again. Now it's getting Marvel TV interested in like, hey, what about these other characters? And people are asking Brad Winderbaum straight up, what about these other Netflix characters? What's up? And so he's kind of cryptically, but like in a wink and a nudge, like that sort of like corporate speak talking about like, we're definitely interested. We're interested. We're thinking about these things to the point where Deadline is really pretty much saying they definitely are working on these things. They're working on bringing the Defenders back in some form or fashion and bringing these characters back. So, one, Corey, is this something you want? Two, which one? Well, if not all of them, which ones would you want to see back? Which ones not? And do you even think they can get the actors back for this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. When I heard this news, I'm going to say right out the gate, I love this news. I love that Marvel is exploring this and possibly bringing this back into the fold. I mean, look, let's bring back the Defenders, except for Iron Fist. We don't need Danny. We don't need Danny. Just get another person because, yes, Iron Fist is part of the Defenders. But we could get somebody else. There were other Defenders. Shoot, get Misty Knight, get Black Cat, just somebody else. But this is great news. They're you're right. They're playing that card where, well, we don't know. We think we know. Look, they're doing it. Clearly, they're doing it. It's happening. I'm so excited. I am a little nervous, though, because a lot of time has passed by. I think it's been almost 10 years since at least, you know, trust me, I got COVID brain, so my memory could not serve me correctly. But it has been some time since these actors have jumped into this role. Do I think they're going to get complained getting picked up by Marvel? Hell no. But we need to make sure that they can deliver and jump back into these roles the way that we remember them in the Netflix show, because that's what made it so great. Everybody except for Danny.
I'm gonna defend Danny Rand. I didn't Iron Fist wasn't terrible. And towards the back half of season 1 and then season 2, it improved. So I'm not saying like if they decide to bring him back and they were like, "Are you Finn? Are you gonna like put in work so you look like you know what you're doing?" And he says yes, great. Like, let's see him
Right.
back. Iron Fist is important. And then the fun thing is, in the comics, there's more than one Iron Fist. Like, it's been passed on to other people. And there's a future Iron Fist. So it's all possible. Or they could, I would say they could slot in Shang-Chi, but he's a movie star, so maybe not. But there's always
Yeah.
sort of possible. And Jessica Henwick, she doesn't work nearly enough, in my opinion, and she could definitely come back in as Colleen Wing. So
Absolutely.
there's all sorts of space for that. Um, I like this idea. I like because Marvel, the MCU has missed one vital aspect. To me, one important aspect of the comics that they have absolutely, like, completely missed, and that is the street level superhero game.
Hmm.
Everything is monumental, right? Everything is cataclysmic. Even Black Widow, who is the street levelist of street level, even her movie had some big, ridiculous, high stakes thing happen, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the stakes in Daredevil are lower. I'm not saying they're low,
Hmm.
lower, right?
Yeah.
The stakes in Iron Fist lower. All Luke Cage, they're like, and that's one thing that is just absolutely missing, is the
Hmm.
understanding that it isn't just about the sci-fi villains and the cosmic shenanigans and all that, but
Hmm.
the crime on the street, where
Hmm.
Spider-Man is webbing people up that are stealing, pocketbooks. And
Yeah.
Luke Cage is running down on people because they owe him money for solving their problems. Like,
Hmm.
and if you really think about it, even though it's just in Marvel, the the kind of the template for Luke Cage is already being done successfully on TV right now. Right now, if you turn to CBS and put on the Equalizer, it really is just Luke Cage without
Oh.
superpowers, right?
Mm.
Hero for hire. She's literally a hero for hire.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, this is a thing that can be done. It'll be cheap, right?
Hmm.
It'll be hella
Yep.
cheap. They can bust out 9, 10, 13 episodes for the cost for hell, one Secret Invasion, the Secret Invasion show could have paid for 3 seasons of any of these shows.
I agree.
And we did,
And it would have been
and
3
it'd been
times better.
dope. Yeah, it'd have been
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a no-brainer. Brad Winterball, stop playing with. I keep saying, stop playing with my emotions. Y'all are playing too much. Just go ahead and greenlight this shit and let's get moving. And like,
I agree.
tell Mike Coulter to stop, stop pretending like he got a whole lot of other things to do. Evil is the show's over. You need
Yeah.
like a steady Marvel paycheck. So come on,
Yeah.
or
They ain't gonna complain.
yeah, or recast. I don't care if they recast him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's Isaiah Mustafa need work too. Isaiah Mustafa need work too. Them Old Spice commercials ain't paying the bills like they used to. So
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
he
Look.
bring his ass back over here. So anyway, we are going to keep an eye on that. I'm certain in the net within 6 to 8 months, I bet we get some kind of confirmation. But we'll let you guys know when we find out. Let's stay on Marvel TV. One last thing, and this is as cool, as fun, as cool as the last thing I said was. This makes me, and I'm not even mad. I'm just like disappointed, and that is because look, this is the nature of TV. This is the nature of Hollywood, actually. Everything that gets developed doesn't get made. That's just true. People, how many scripts are sitting on a desk somewhere? Script after script after script, right? Treatment for a new idea. Um, how many thousands or millions of dollars developing something that doesn't become anything? It's just, it is what it is. That doesn't mean this doesn't hurt a little bit, and that is we found out, besides them looking into doing Defender stuff, we also found out that they are pausing development at Marvel TV on a few projects, which I personally was very interested in. At least 2 of them. One of them is Strange Academy. One of them is Terror Inc. And the one that really hurts, especially because I been seeing rumors about this before, like in the last month, was Nova. Was the old Buckethead himself. Who they were talking. I was hearing they were talking about looking at certain people for it, and they were going to move for it. They're pausing development on it as a TV show, and like I said, I'm disappointed. I'm like really disappointed. But before I, let out my feelings about this, I do want to, Corey, hear what you have to say about these. Were you looking forward to these? Like, what is this? How does it make you feel about what Marvel TV's got going on?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little different than how you feel, but I am disappointed because I really enjoy Nova. So that was definitely a TV series that I was really looking at. And Terror Inc. That was something that I was like, wow, I don't know a lot about this, but when I was reading the concept of it, I was like, oh man, this looks so freaking interesting. I want to see this. But this is where I fall. Marvel was doing a lot. They were doing so much that they lost their footing because they were doing too much. So if they have to take a step back and pause some of these projects, I'm okay with it because I don't want them to stretch themselves thin. What I want them to do is if they're going to decide to do one of these projects, then just focus on this project and not all these 15 other things because I want them to do Nova and really do Nova. I want to see what this Terror Inc. looks like. I just don't want them to do this project and they have too many other things going on, so it gets watered down. So I'm okay with them pausing it if it's for the right reasons.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm not even going to talk about Nova just yet, but Strange Academy, I get it. It's a based on a comic that came out about 5 years ago. It's a cool little idea. Doctor Strange and other magic users take the younger magic users under their wing so that they become responsible and good magic users that are heroes or whatever. Makes sense to me. It's kind of like an Avengers the Initiative, if you remember from Civil War. Avengers the Initiative, where the young heroes are basically trained so that they don't fuck up and kill somebody. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds expensive as fuck. Makes sense that it's not a TV show. Like, think about WandaVision, right? And when they finally started actually shooting magic around towards the end of the show, they waited to the end of the show, right? And then they spent a lot of money. Secret Invasion, they had all sorts of CG that needed to be done, and that was an expensive as fuck show. So I get it. This is I'm honestly trying to figure out because they're going to be doing something similar at Warner Brothers Discovery with the Harry Potter show. And I'm like, how do y'all make this make sense money-wise? Because you got to do all this stuff to make magic. So, Strange Academy, it's a cool concept. Probably should be animated. Maybe.
Definitely for that.
Yeah, definitely not a movie because, like, it's going to be full of characters that nobody knows and it's going to be a big cast. So, yeah, maybe animated show, maybe a movie or whatever, but definitely not a TV show. The return on investment's bad. Terror Inc. is weird to me because to me, this makes it is the closest thing to a Daredevil that is not Daredevil or, the Defenders. Because the guy, he's not, I mean, yeah, he's got this weird ass face. I'm trying not to get him confused with somebody else, but he's a street level anti-hero. Terror Inc. is basically, he's a street level anti-hero, kind of like I don't want to say undead Punisher, but kind of like an undead Punisher, right?
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, pretty much he kills people, right? And he's got like this face, but the CG on that, if what is it? Was it Agents of Shield could do Ghost Rider, they can do this guy, right? To me, I don't get missing out on this because you have a horror aspect. It's street level. There's criminals like the Punisher, Punisher, the way he fights criminals. And then the character could basically play in the same street level sandbox that I was saying they were missing out on in the MCU. So, and also it wouldn't cost that much. It just
Yeah.
it wouldn't cost that much money. Don't see why they can't do that one. But okay, maybe the story's not where they need it to be. It's paused. It's not gone. Nova is the one that hurts. But I also
Yeah.
I'm seeing a silver lining. The reason why Nova hurts is because Nova's awesome. Um, there's not enough dope like Superman esque. He's not really Superman ish, but you know what I'm saying. He's kind of a Rocketeer or some shit like that. He's got dope ass powers, and also this is the answer, the Marvel Universe's answer to the Green Lantern Corps. So there's a possibility of a sprawling cast with the Nova Corps and everything like that. And depending on how they decided to run with it, you could bring in the younger what's his name, Sam something or other.
The one
No,
that hung with Spider-Man.
yeah. So you could bring him in. You have Richard
Hmm.
Rider, the OG, and then the core.
Hmm.
So there's all sorts of possibility. The problem, of course, is how the fuck do you pay for this? It's like
Yeah.
it's the same problem you have with Green Lantern. They are by nature space cops, but
Hmm.
for some reason they're always hanging out on Earth. Like why? You got a whole sector to deal with. Like in the Nova Corps, the same way. Got a whole sector of space to deal with. But for some reason, your ass is just on Earth all the time. And so it doesn't make any sense. So if you want to keep the cost down, you got to keep them on Earth, right?
Hmm.
But if you
Really.
want it to be truer to the comics and to really get to the potential of the character, it needs to be in space with it basically needs to be Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah,
Hence,
and they
yeah,
touched on that in the Guardians of the Galaxy already.
yeah,
I mean,
and well, first of all, Nova Corps in Guardians 2 was stupid, and I hated
well,
it.
yeah.
And I like James Gunn, but that was one of those swing and a miss for me for James Gunn because like you did the Nova Corps dirty. They do not fly
Yeah.
around in fucking spaceships. They have a
Yeah.
bucket. They got the bucket helmet, and they fly
Yeah.
around shoot with their butts turning into rockets, basically. That's it. And then
Yeah.
they punch the hell out of shit and like have gravity powers. There you go. But
Hmm.
okay. So this is their chance to redeem that horrible presentation in Guardians 2. But I get it. It's expensive.
Hmm.
It is a hell of
Yeah.
an expensive. So my silver lining here, I'm disappointed. Maybe they're making a movie. Please, whoever I gotta pray to, that God, if you're listening, help.
I think that would be a great idea. What better way to introduce a character than to bring them into a movie? Not like a main character, but similar to the same way that they did Black Panther before he got his own film. He came in part of a storyline with Civil War. They did the same thing with Spider-Man
Mhm.
before he got his own movie. You can bring Nova in for a movie with the movie budget, give him what he deserves, but don't, make it so that it's organically he's coming into the fold. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and the cosmic side of the MCU obviously needs to be maintained. The
Mhm.
Guardians they were the standard bearers for the cosmic side. Now they're gone. They're not gone, but clearly we're not going to
Mhm.
get another Guardians movie for the better part of the next 10 years.
Mhm.
It's just, unless somebody comes in and is like, I really got a Guardians thing, probably not going to see the Guardians again, except in either Doomsday or Secret Wars, right?
Yeah.
So who's gonna carry the torch for the cosmic side of the MCU? It's not gonna be Captain Marvel because the Marvels, crashed and burned.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna lead the charge, and there aren't any other cosmic heroes except maybe the Fantastic Four, but I think they're gonna be Earthbound too. So
Mhm.
Richard Rider is to me, besides him and Adam Warlock and all, they are the natural
Mhm.
standard bearers for the cosmic side of the MCU. And so I would really like to see them say, fuck this TV show, limited. Let's bring him
Mhm.
in. And look, here's the other thing. They have the opportunity right now to do to me my favorite thing that Nova ever did, which was rebuild the Nova Corps, right?
Mm.
Because they
Yes.
were destroyed in Guardians 2. very similarly to how in the Annihilation, or in fact, to me, if you're gonna bring in Nova, have Nova be in a movie, bring in Annihilus. Bring in the Annihilation event, make it a cosmic event, like a 3-movie thing. It doesn't even have to be in all Novas. It could be Nova, and then like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, Guardians 4 or whatever. It could be all of them, and you could even bring Hulk into it because he's sort of cosmic right now too, with his son and everything like that. Then have a big Annihilation event that culminates in like a 3-movie arc where Annihilus is the big bad guy. And so you have all the reason to bring him in, to bring in, the Guardians, maybe establish Adam Warlock as like a badass, and then have a big satisfying conclusion. And it'll be expensive, but I think it'll be worth it. But also you do my dog Richard Rider, do him some justice, god damn it. That's y'all sitting up here playing with again. Stop playing with me. Don't pretend like you're gonna do Nova. Do Nova correctly, because he's a badass, just straight up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I mean, like I feel your passion on Nova, yo. So I hope they deliver for you, brother. I do. I love your idea of bringing it into the movie, though. I think that is the perfect way to do it, and they can do it. They can do it, man. And I like your extinction level theory, like that Annihilation theory. That is a great way to do it.
And if you guys haven't read Annihilation, do yourself a favor. Like a lot of y'all have heard of Civil War because of the movie. You may have heard of the comics, and just trust me, the year that the Civil War event was running, it was the second best event that Marvel was putting out. Annihilation was the joint. Like, I read them at the same time. I was getting the comics at the same time, month to month. And I collected both the events. Trust me when I say Annihilation was the book to read. Civil War was cool, but Annihilation was the book. And it's worth going. If you have Marvel Unlimited, go visit. It's great.
Dude, I'm writing that down right now. Like, seriously.
But you guys, we'll let you guys know if any more developments come out about these shows. Hopefully something good will happen, and we'll let you know. So, one last thing before we get into our kind of reviews, and that is this. Captain America said, fuck them haters. He said, fuck them haters. Because a lot of them are out there. A lot of people are out there waiting. They were praying on my downfall. That's what he said. He said they was praying for my downfall. They was praying that I get knocked down and wouldn't get up. But I don't know if this is going to continue going forward. But this first weekend was pretty dang good. Beat box office projections. In fact, I think it was 192 million worldwide, 100 million in the U.S. On its first weekend, 92 million internationally. And they better have with all the damn marketing they did.
They sure had.
And look, Captain America: Brave New World is not. People are calling it overhated. I think they were front loading it with like negativity, because you heard for the last year, they got to do all these reshoots. The test screenings were terrible. People hate it. The budget it's $300 million. They're near, because $300 million budget means you got to make at least 900 to make what 300 million. You got to make about 850-ish for it to make your money back. Oh, here's a surprise. Would you be surprised to know? Oh, that was bullshit. All of it bullshit. The budget was $180 million, which is a pretty standard superhero movie budget, especially with CG. It's a pretty standard budget for a superhero movie. The tons of reshoots, 22 days of reshoots that they had planned to do anyway. Now I will say, probably during those reshoots, they did retool the story. I think in some places, I think it's pretty clear in the movie itself. You'll see you'll notice if you pay attention, there are a few places you're like, I don't seem like this is following. And so there are a few places you can tell pickups or whatever kind of
Mhm.
switch the story up a bit. It's fine. It's fine.
Mhm.
The point is 192 million worldwide. So they've already exceeded their budget, which is always nice.
Mhm.
But
For free.
the magic number for blockbusters is 2.5 times your production budget.
Mhm.
So this one needs to make something like 500 and about 550 to get its
Yeah.
money back to start being profitable. So, all that being said, first of all, dope. Good for you, Julius Ono. Good for you, Anthony Mackie. Uh, we definitely need more wins for black people in Hollywood, definitely. Because what's the rule? If one of us wins, it's a reflection on that person.
And we all win.
If one of us loses, it's the entirety of the race.
Iron
So
choice.
so so get that W. We're gonna celebrate. Now, I will also say that I saw people talking about, oh, black people better show up for this like they showed up for Black Panther.
Mm.
Really? Y'all think that's the? Do y'all remember? Do you remember the marketing campaign leading up to Black Panther? It was a full court press. Every black
Yeah.
person ever was, every black person on the cast was like, they were out there like they were selling Girl Scout cookies, like they were trying to get everybody. They were guilting everybody. They're like, oh, I'm not saying guilting because it was a good movie, but they worked every talk show, every radio
Yes. Every
show,
junket.
every
Yes.
every award show. Boy, man,
Mhm.
I was like, if y'all don't keep, if y'all don't stop moving around like this, they gonna classify y'all as a gang because three or more of us can't be together without us being a gang, right? Hell, I
Oh
was
man.
you would have thought that that this movie was being bankrolled by Wakanda the way they were out there pressing on it.
They
And
were
I'm
out
this
there, man.
and this is not against the movie, by the way. I'm not saying anything against the movie. I love Black Panther. I just think that there was a ridiculously involved marketing campaign months in advance, that got
Oh
us
yes.
prepped and primed to be like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
black event. We need to go see it. Right?
I also think that him being in Civil War and doing so well in Civil War, and it was right. What's this phase 3? This is right when I can't remember what phase we're in, but this is when
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is firing on all cylinders. I think that helped some of that tide rolling in there too, because you couldn't wait to finally see him in his solo
Mm-hmm.
film. But you ain't fronting. They was on a full court press for a long time. I knew they was worn out by the time the premiere came, but it all worked out.
Yeah. And so so I just want to put that to bed. Y'all, this movie ain't gonna do Black Panther numbers. It just
Not
isn't.
even close. Yeah.
Like, look at the difference with look at the cast of Black Panther was sprawling. Lots of people,
Hmm.
lots of names. So that's one. Two, this movie is not gonna get that kind of shine because it's not a black movie. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen it. It's not a black movie. Black Panther and Wakanda Forever were black as hell. Super black,
Yeah.
like so black. This is a movie where a black man is this movie is about as black as America is, which is we're there and we may even be front and center in the story. There's still a backdrop of America, white people, and what they got going on. So
Yeah.
this is not going to appeal to us, as a community the same way. That being said,
Absolutely.
black folk, get out there and support your brother. That's all I'm saying. Get out there and see the movie. Take your kids out there, get them the little, toy shield. You know, let them get the little wings if they. I don't know if they sell those, but y'all get out there and support your brother because again, one of us wins, yay!
Yeah.
One, for him. One of us loses,
Mhm.
damn, they ain't gonna make no more black superhero movies for like
Yeah.
10 years. So, all
Yeah.
right. That being said, are you surprised by this beating expectations? Do you think that it's gonna get into profitability? And how are you feeling about the future of this character as a result of this this
Mhm.
box office?
Well, to answer your first question, did I think it, beat the expect, well, I'm not going to front. I was surprised that it actually did well, not because I didn't want it to do well. It just so has so much negativity going into this movie, like you're saying, the screenings and this and that and the reshoots. It's just too much negativity. All dropped months before the movie had even dropped, so I didn't think it was going to do that well. So I'm quite surprised, but joyfully surprised that it actually did well because I did not want it to not do well. You got a black lead actor, is the Falcon, now it's Captain America. We need this because you're right. If this doesn't do well, we're not going to see another black movie for another decade. So I was happy about that. The numbers were good. Now that it's hit like that 180 million, 190 million mark, I do see the numbers getting better, but I think this second box office weekend is going to be the defining factor. It's going to drop. There's no doubt that it's going to drop probably 50, 60%. But what are the numbers are still going to look like this next go around? Because then it starts to dwindle from there. If the second weekends still look promising, then I think the movie is on track to at least possibly hit that profitability mark. You said 550 million. Woo, man, that's up there. Man, I don't know if it's gonna make 550 million. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see it do it, but if there are other movies coming out, it's gonna be tough.
Oh.
It's gonna be tough, but I would love to see it do it.
I was actually wrong about it. It's 450. 2.5
Okay.
times 180 is 450. 550 would be like, look, $100 million in profit is great. I think,
Yeah.
but this is an expectations game and everything like that. The thing is, you got to remember, like, this is actually, it's grossed more than the first two Captain Americas, or it's on track to grow, because the first one's 330 million. The other one was a 300, I might be a 400. So this, this is on track. As long as it hit, the thing about it is, as long as it hits its break even point, go.
Yeah.
So at least you made your
Yeah.
money back. You made your money back for your marketing and your cost of production. Everything after that is profit. Cool. I think it can 450 is not hard to get.
Yeah, I think you can do 450.
Someone said, and this is not a good comparison because Thor is a more popular character, but Thor: Love and Thunder made $740 million. Right?
Really?
So it made a lot. It made a lot of money. So, I mean, people were thinking that this was going to flop like the Marvels. I knew it wasn't going to flop like the Marvels. The Marvels, in my opinion, flopped for a variety of reasons that weren't the movie itself. But Shang-Chi made 425. Right, and it's because of the story's so good, it's considered a success, even though it barely made its money back. The Eternals, I don't remember what its box office was, but I think it lost money, but not a ton. But it lost. I think it may have just barely made its money back, and it was a much more sprawling movie. So I think that this movie, I think my prediction, you're right. I want to see second weekend box office. If it's a 55, 60, 65% drop, it'll pass. It's break even. If it's 75, if it's 70 plus, it may just squeak past. Like 60% drop to me is it'll make 500 and something million dollars. 70% is it barely gets to 450.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the thing is, and you were saying before, like, oh, I didn't know if this was going to be any good, if it was going to make money or whatever, because of the negativity online. Well, let this be a lesson to all of you terminally online nerds.
I know, right?
We are not the normal consumer. None of us. If you are watching this show, if you're listening to this, right, you're not normal. And that's cool. We love, we're all, comic nerds and everything here. You are not the normal consumer. you are not even who Marvel Studios is aiming this movie at. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they know you. They knew your ass was going to go see it anyway. They're not marketing at you. You are not the target audience for this. You know who the target audience is? Some person that doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but they've seen Marvel movies and they like them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't follow the trades. They don't listen to podcasts. They don't know any of these toxic motherfuckers who are trashing on this because a black man is Captain America. They don't even know there's a controversy. They do know Falcon. They're like, when the hell did he become Captain America? But they watched Endgame, so they know, oh, he gave him the shield. Cool. And they see, oh, it's a Marvel movie. This is the double-edged sword of the Marvel, the Marvel name. On one edge, Craven and Madam Web and Venom. And people are like, oh, cool, a Marvel movie. Wait a minute, this is trash, right?
Trash.
On the other hand, they're like, oh, cool, a new Marvel movie, and it's a Captain America movie. I'll go see it, right? And let me also clue y'all into something. They aren't dissecting these motherfucking movies like we are. They aren't remembering all the shit that happened in a movie they saw 5 years ago one time, right? They're not going back. No, all these stupid ass questions people are asking about whether or not it makes sense for Sam Wilson to be able to fight the Red Hulk. They don't care about that. You fucking nerds. I'm saying it for them. You dang nerds. This is why y'all got stuffed into lockers, because you're sitting up here having these conversations, and they're fun conversations. But you got stuffed into there, and meanwhile, the jocks are like, dope, Captain America's fighting a Hulk. Sweet. I don't know why this Hulk exists. He's red. Don't know why that's happening either, but I want to see it.
That's so true.
And the other thing, nerds, because we all think that the world revolves around us. It doesn't. The kids love Captain America. They love dressing up as him. They love the shield, right? And they don't give a damn that he's black, right? He's flying around. They're home. He got Falcon flying around. The Hulk, they get red Hulk gloves now. Y'all don't. Some of y'all maybe y'all don't remember what it was like 20 years ago with the Hulk gloves. The little thing that when you hit them together and they made noise. Yeah, some of y'all forgot. Some of y'all don't forgot about that. This movie, either cynically or organically, came into kind of a good mix of all of the things that kids would like, right? And so it's got why wouldn't they're appealing to them? This is Disney, right? They know who they're trying to market to, and it's not us, because they know we're gonna come see the movie any fucking way. They don't need to get us. There's no reason to give bait to fish that are already in the fucking boat.
That's why they made sure to put the Red Hulk on the poster.
Yeah, I mean,
they know.
So anyway, at the end of the day, my prediction is like I said, it's gonna get profitable. It'll pass 450. I also predict that the toxic channels and sites are gonna call it a woke disaster and that it's a flop and all this other thing, because if it doesn't make $1 billion, clearly it's a flop. Unless a white dude is fronting the movie, then it's fine, right?
Yeah, they're definitely going to try to do that on this movie every day. Which sucks, But
three times as good to be seen as half as good, right? So
we know that narrative. Oh yes.
Yeah. So I said, y'all go see it. And we'll see. We'll talk about it as the weeks go on. We'll see where it ultimately ends up. So, with all that said, that's all of our news. We are now going to do a review. And we're going to review Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is, a show we kind of reviewed a few weeks ago, the first first 2 episodes with Polly from Comixed, which was fun. That was also in the wake of that really stupid comment by the guy, Hudson Thames, that
yes,
really stupid comment. I hope that did not deter too many people from watching the show. Remember, he's a guy. He's not just a guy. He's just a guy reading lines.
Yeah.
Didn't write one bit of it, right?
Mhm.
Just reading lines. So, but and by the way, shout out to Hudson Thames. He said something stupid, but damn, he's good. He's really good in this.
He is.
He's really, really good in this.
He is so damn good in this. I just like, I don't care. Sign him up again.
Yeah, I mean, he said some dumb shit, but like, and it was really one dumb thing, but like, he's really good. So we do want to give our thoughts about this now that we've seen the final episode, the 10 episode season, and thinking about the what impact does this have on Marvel TV, Marvel animation? We're definitely getting another season. Let's give some shout outs to the people working on it, all that stuff. I have some thoughts on it, but I want to hear, Corey, what you have to say about is how are you feeling about this season?
Man, did they stick the landing? Hell yes, they absolutely stuck the landing. This show is a 10 for me. I've said it before, they are doing a right down the line balance of this homage of 100% classic OG Spider-Man with while telling a very fresh and different story. I mean, this is a 10 for me. I absolutely love it. There are so many parts about watching this whole series that the stories are just so great. I mean, the Scorpion was so terrifying in these series. I mean, it was brutal watching him beat Spider-Man at that moment because I'm like, yo, he's beating a kid to death here. Like this is heart-wrenching to watch. But it's Lonnie Lincoln's story is so good. I mean, it's so well laid out. The progression of his story and how you see how he's going to progress into Tombstone that we know in the comics. It's fascinating to watch because I still have love for Lonnie, man. I love this man. I like him a lot and I don't want to see him. But the way that they're doing it, it's a slow progression. The story is very well laid out. Even the part of this story where Norman says this one line. I had to write it down. With great power comes great respect. Oh man. Why this line is so good because of who Spider-Man is at his core. He still battles with that line. Even though he eventually does turn it on at the end when he's battling Scorpion a second time, interestingly enough, it's Lonnie who comes back and says, "This is not you, bro." And he immediately is like, "You're right. This is not me." So there's so much with this. They get who Spider-Man is at his core. Oh my God. And he finally brought back the class. I was like, dude, we got Spider-Man outfit here. There's so much about this show that I love. The final last two episodes, I think they did an absolutely great job continuing the story while still tying up that chapter. I can't wait for season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep it going. I want more.
Oh man, I wish I could say this is gonna run 6 seasons, but you know how streaming is. It'll be 3 seasons, and then we'll be like, "Why? Why would you end this
Yes.
already?"
Oh.
It's crazy. It's crazy talk. Like the comics run forever. The TV shows 3 seasons. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10. People compared this to X-Men '97. I was like, don't be putting that on this show. How did y'all? That's expectation way too damn high. Don't do that. Like X-Men '97 is peak. So
It
like,
is.
but somehow in its own way, it's not. Look, is it better than X-Men '97? No, but they're playing different games. You know, X-Men
Mhm.
'97. Its mission statement is different than this one,
Very well said.
but it still is. It's on that level. This is what
Mhm.
happens when you get a creator, a showrunner, whose love for the character is so palpable. It is so clear that this
Mhm.
person adores this character. And not just the character, every character that is around that character. They adore this character and their story and their evolution as people, on the page. And it shows in who they choose to become writers on the show, who they choose to animate, you know, who they choose to bring these characters to life with voice,
Mhm.
it's respectful as hell. It's so respectful, even in the midst of remixing and in some ways just doing the story completely differently. Like
Mhm.
this Spider-Man's origin story is, yes, a guy gets bit by a radioactive spider or something, but there is an aspect of it that understands the multiverse, but also understands that, as he said later in the final episodes, some things are just meant to happen, and no
Mm.
matter what gets in the way, it still happens. And that's
Mm.
that right there, that little bit right there, could be the entire kind of the mission statement for this show. That if you are a fan of Spider-Man, any iteration of Spider-Man, comics, the TV show, the weird TV show from the 70s, the
Mhm.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the various animated shows that people revere, right? If you are a fan of any of those versions of the the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games, and 4 games, right?
Yes.
If you're a fan of any of those iterations of Spider-Man, this is for you.
Mhm.
Because in its essence, Peter Parker is who he is. And
Mhm.
we get to see a teenage Peter Parker in a different environment that we are not used to. They swerved us, right? Something happens. Doctor Strange comes into his world. He ends up going to a different school, becoming friends with a different set of people, right?
Yeah.
Being in a different, and he's still Peter Parker. He's still a genius kid. And in this different world, where there is a Norman Osborn who is a corporate industrialist, he becomes his mentor. And
Mhm.
how does that affect Spider-Man as a hero and as a young man? He's impressionable in both ways. And how does he ultimately find his way? But this isn't just about him, it's also about Harry, being a rich kid that
Mhm.
needs friends. It's about Nico, whose best friend she feels threatened is being taken away from her. It's about Lonnie Lincoln, who's been through various circumstances because of where he lives and the situation around him, has been forced into basically a life of crime, right? It's about who is Norman Osborn and what is he really up to, And all throughout this, we get the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, or we get the potential for them in the future.
Yes.
It is an
Yes.
understanding that all of this stuff is connected. And this isn't just that's real convenient. This cartoon is doing. No, if you read the comic books, it's all
Yep.
really conveniently like it's like the seven, what do you call it? Uh the
With
Kevin
6 degrees
Bacon
of
game, Six
separation.
Degrees of Kevin Bacon. No,
Yeah.
Peter Parker is connected to a lot of people that end up being
Mhm.
villains in his world. So
Yes.
seeing that play out was masterfully done. Was a extremely well plotted and well like executed, very intricate puzzle. And on top of that, so they didn't even have to do this. But they said, "Oh, it is in the MCU. It's in a side MCU because it's the multiverse."
Mm.
So Sokovia Accords are in there. Iron Man shows up in that bitch. The Avengers are running around, right?
Yep.
Right? We get all of
Yep.
that, and then we get a Doctor Strange, and he's not, he's not Benedict Cumberbatch, but we get a Doctor Strange doing some Doctor Strange shit. Doing all that,
Mhm.
and like he's got the time stone and everything. And with all of this, they're like it's like watching an architect
Mm.
and his firm, or his or her firm of master builders construct a work of art, because you're seeing the foundation being, you're seeing the
Yes.
walls going up, and you see that cornerstone. Oh, that's going to be important. If you know, you know. Oh, that's going to be important. Oh, like, did you peep this? So spoiler, but and there's a scene at the very last episode, and you see a little board of names, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
And on the board of names, because they're looking for potential people to be a part of this corporation. Smart kids, right? And on the board is Ned Leeds.
What? Oh, snap.
Ned. On the board is Max Dillon. You know who Maxwell Dillon is. We know who Max Dillon is.
I know who Max
Come
Dillon
on,
is.
you know who because Jamie Foxx played him in the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
Electro.
Electro.
What? Right. Max Dillon.
Wow.
Right.
Oh my God.
And the one or the other that stood out to me, Kaiden Nixon. Now,
who's that?
If you're not up on the Runaways, Kaiden Nixon is one of the Runaways. And you know who else is one of the Runaways? Nico Minoru.
Nico. Yeah. Oh,
man, I'm telling you these. I'm like, you know what, y'all. Okay. Oh no, y'all doing it. Y'all cook. Let them cook. I'm not kidding. I post this on Threads, and I sincerely mean it. Y'all, Marvel, get this man into it. Jeff Trammell, that's his name. He's the black man that is in. He's showrunner, creator of the show. Get this man on a long-term contract. Get him in his writer's room. Get them to working. Because there's an animated MCU that's just waiting to happen. I will be there for every fucking. If y'all want to do Runaways, y'all want to whatever y'all want to do, right? Make it happen. Give these guys the keys to the kingdom, and get Jeff Trammell onto a live-action show or movie or whatever. Get this man on something, right? Lock him down. Yeah. Because he knows what the hell he's doing. And y'all ain't got to worry about apparently he doesn't have any, crazy whatever going on with him like Bo DeMaio. Get this man on a contract because they were cooking the whole season. The entire season cooking. There was I cannot tell you one bad thing about the show. Not
me either.
I don't know what it is. Absolutely.
It's written amazing. Extremely well. Like, I didn't even realize, like, to have that much detail where the names on the board are still tying into the characters. Oh my God. Like, dude,
I'm sure I missed some because it was about 20 or 24-ish names. I'm sure I missed some. There's probably some that I missed. But not only that, so they hid characters in plain sight. If you didn't know, you didn't know. But if you knew, you knew. Jean Foucault, whatever her name is. Hey, Daredevil was there. She was hanging out with Daredevil because she's a mask. We already know Amadeus Cho. If you know the comics, you know who that is. You know, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're gonna learn, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like I cannot believe. Well.
That's why I really liked it because, like you're saying, if you know, and you can appreciate Easter eggs that they're laying, and it's not like a punch in your face. It's not like they're shoehorning it in. It's organically done. So it's just flowing with the story. And if you don't know, oh my God, you're in for a ride when you finally find out where this is going. I mean, it's done so well. Like, you're right. This should not cap off at 3 seasons, which they're probably going to do it. This could run on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons because they've laid some good shit here.
Yeah. It's great. It's so like I said, it's top tier Marvel. Y'all keep doing this. This is giving me so much confidence in actually, I don't know if you saw it on Threads. I want to say Black Girl Nerds posted just like a little teaser image or like a concept image for season 2. And one of my favorite new characters that I love, Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen coming in season 2. Let's go. You don't even say no more. Say if I could buy tickets for it right now, I'd be like, I'd be like, Fry, take my money, damn it, because dang, you don't even have to say anything else. Love Spider-Gwen. Loved her in the comics. Loved her in Across the Spider-Verse. I can't wait.
That's gonna be so good. Oh God, dude, I'm so excited. And I did not know that. Oh shit.
Yeah, it's going down. They're just saying all the right things to me. I love it. I can't wait to see more. You guys should be watching it. If you're not watching it, what are you doing with your time? Go watch it. It's 10 episodes on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So you know, let us know what you think about it down in the comments. So, Captain America: Brave New World, the fourth installment in the Captain America franchise, the first with Anthony Mackie as the title character, graduating from being Falcon to actually being the man with the shield. Of course, we saw this was all set up in Avengers Endgame when old man Captain America handed the shield off to him and essentially blessed him to be the next Captain America. And also, if you were watching Disney Plus, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier sort of dealt with Sam coming to terms with actually being the Captain America and what that all means as a black man in America. We got introduced to Isaiah Bradley in that one. We saw Zemo and Bucky Barnes. It was a very interesting show that laid the groundwork for this movie. And as a matter of fact, the screenwriter for Falcon and Winter Soldier did do or at least help the screenplay for this one. So it's been years since we've seen a Captain America movie. Last time we saw, Sam Wilson with the Shield was back when Disney Plus dropped. And, there's a lot of negative stuff in the press that were leading up to this movie that suggested maybe it wasn't going to be a good movie or even potentially a flop. And so, I'm here to tell you this is not a flop. This is not going to be a movie that people are going to be like, oh, this is a horrible, horrible movie. I do think it's a movie that if you are already on the, Marvel is in decline train, you probably are going to use it as ammunition to prove that. And if you're in the, oh, Marvel's in the rebuilding phase, this is going to be, in my opinion, is going to be a solid movie in the category. The MCU is not falling off, y'all. You can't win all the championships. You can't keep hitting 3-pointers without missing one. You know what I'm saying? In this case, this is a movie that's, in my opinion, is a solid entry. If you're playing baseball, this is a good double, possibly a triple. Gets you on base, which is good because you're in position to score. And these movies that have been after Endgame have sort of been needing to lead to something, but also to establish themselves in the MCU in their own way. They can't just be lead up movies. They also have to tell a story that makes sense. The good thing about this movie is that it pays off some stuff that have been set up, like in Eternals, with Tiamat Island, which we know was the celestial that emerged but died, and so was just kind of sticking up out of the earth. What does that all mean for the MCU? They've been not talking about it, even though this is a huge worldwide event. The Indian Ocean now has this huge island that looks like a person. What does that mean? Well, in the context of the movie, that means a brand new metal that is better, possibly, than vibranium is out there and just ripe for the taking if somebody can figure out how to mine it and synthesize it. And hey, the Japanese have figured out how to do it. And we have Thunderbolt Ross, who is, at the very beginning of the movie, is elected president of the United States with the promise of bringing everyone together in the aftermath of the blip. And the world politics is all weird. I would assume that this is after Wakanda Forever. And then, of course, we have Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres as Captain America and the new Falcon, respectively, who are continuing to do the work of being superheroes with the support of the U.S. government. Underneath all of this is the idea that Sam Wilson, could possibly help, recreate the next Avengers with the help of Thunderbolt Ross, which I think is interesting because Ross and Wilson were like this during the Civil War era. That he went on the run. He was in the raft because of Thunderbolt Ross, who actually ran the raft at one time. So, can they bury the hatchet? Can they, work together? To me, my feeling about this movie is, I watched the movie and I kept not hoping. It's one of those movies where I'm watching and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting for that aha moment where I'm seeing cool stuff on the screen, but I'm like, where's that moment where I'm just like, aha, this is like, oh, it's clicking with me 100%. And it just felt like being on the top of a hill of a roller coaster that never quite pushes me over, but the descent, the ascent is interesting, and the descent is interesting too. But just there was that moment at the top of the hill where I'm just like not quite there. Which is not to say that this is a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. I think it's in some places it's a little oddly paced. There are also some seams showing. It's kind of like a sweater that is made from two sweaters, and they stitched them together, and it looks like they're the same one. But if you look a little closer, you can kind of see the stitching is a little weird. The seams are not, it's not quite, it's two movies put together and sort of made to be one movie. And it's just some continuity things here and there. Like there's a point in the movie where the new character Sabra, who by the way, not a mutant and also not a member of the Mossad or Israeli intelligence or whatever, just happens to be of Israeli descent. But so she eventually, as her part of her job, she eventually teams up with Falcon and Captain America, and they're going to go fight the bad guy. And she has on like what looks like some kind of breastplate or something that's very similar to the sort of armor that Sam and Joaquin are wearing, as part of their uniform. Never explains that. That just out of nowhere, she's just wearing it as if she just pulled it out of her backpack and put it on. Okay, this stuff like that where it's pretty clear on the editing room floor there's explanation. It's a little distracting, but not terribly so. I think that Anthony Mackie's doing a great job. He is a good Captain America physically. He can do all the stuff. He adds another element because he can fly, unlike Steve Rogers. He's not as strong, but he's still got the moves. He can fight. He's got great skills. He's not invulnerable. He does take hits, but he definitely gives as well as he gets. He handles the shield well. I love Joaquin Torres. Danny Ramirez playing Joaquin Torres, excellent. Love that. I love that. I love the camaraderie between Sam and Joaquin. They're a great team together. They are fun to watch in combat, in action. They have a good rapport. Their repartee is really, really nice. It feels like it's very comic booky, and I do appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I also like that they brought back Carl Lumbly to be Isaiah Bradley and actually make him figure into this and make his story relevant to what's going on. His, having been in prison and then, being set up, and then now he's in prison again and choosing, kind of choosing to like just kind of go down rather than, make a big deal and fight about it. But, Sam kind of he's a mentor. He's someone he looks up to. And so it's very much a personal thing that he has to figure out who set him up and why. But I will say, that one of the things that kind of disappoints me about this movie is there's a lack of a personal touch. And by that I mean the Isaiah Bradley stuff, there is personal touch there. What the lack of personal touch is, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, you saw more of who Sam is as a person. In this one, he is just Captain America. He doesn't get a lot of time to be Sam. He gets a little bit. Most of it, he's Captain America. He's the man in the suit. It'd be like watching a Captain America movie with Steve Rogers, where all of it is just him running around fighting crime and shit, but no time to slow down and be like, who are you as a person? Those conversations he had with Widow, him talking about, his past, and him talking about the woman across, Agent 13 or whatever. That's the sort of stuff that we kind of need a little bit more of, and they kind of shorted us on that in order to make Ross a more central character and Ross's character journey a more central part of it. So, and I've seen people be like, oh, it's partly a Red Hulk / Thunderbolt Ross movie. And in a sense, it's kind of true. an awful lot of this movie revolves around Thaddeus Ross and his misdeeds, and also him trying to like be a good president and try to be a good dad, but also, to try to broker this peace because the new ore adamantium is hella important. It's super important to the future. And if you know anything about the comic, super important to what's going to come with mutants, and one particular mutant. So all of that, it means that he gets a lot of screen time. And I love Harrison Ford. I do. But he gets a lot of screen time to the detriment, I think, of Sam Wilson, who is already facing an uphill battle because of toxic fans and whatever, and people being like, not my Captain America. But he has to also share a lot of screen time with, again, the GOAT Harrison Ford. But it should be more about him and less about Ross. Um, and another thing that I think kind of brings this down a bit to me is it continues the MCU's villain problem with a villain that's maybe interesting but not overly compelling, and really not even all that threatening, even though he does some sort of crazy stuff, in terms of how he's affecting, and this is, the leader, how he's affecting the story, his villainy is whatever. But it's so kind of like, more puppet master and less like, he's a puppet master, but like the way the Wizard of Oz is threatening, I suppose you could say. He's pulling strings, but personal, up face to face, not as formidable. And so you don't get the catharsis of Sam Wilson having to fight a guy because he's not really formidable in that way. He's smart. So he's pulling strings or whatever. And at the end of the day, you do get big smash up fight and everything. That's cool. It just doesn't feel as immediate and cool as Cap beating the shit out of Red Skull. I'll also say, how dare they use Giancarlo Esposito this way? Because I really wanted to see him do some cool stuff, and he did some cool stuff, but like he wasn't as integral as I thought he would be. But there is hope for the future, so hopefully they do more to rectify what I think is a bit of casting somebody but not utilizing them to the best of your ability. And I also will say that they are introducing yet another thing that this annoys me too, because it's a problem with the comics too, is whenever you want to create a new character, you use, chemicals, or you use, and they're actually a mutant, so now they have superpowers, right? Well, one thing they're doing now in the MCU is and thanks to Black Widow, the Red Room is now just a way to create some badass ass kicking, heroine or villainous, one or the other. It's a little, let me just say, a little annoying, and I don't think it necessarily doesn't necessarily add to that, where you can just randomly make somebody a widow. It's really kind of weird. But this movie does do some really cool things in terms of action. Great action. Love the fight scenes. There's the fight with the on the island out. That's cool. And it does some really good emotional scenes. Bringing back Liv Tyler. That's really cool too. Harrison Ford does get a chance to really show, yes, he's a great actor. I enjoyed that. And also Anthony Mackie does, as Sam Wilson, does get to show some of that too. Really, really good stuff. I think overall, this is a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a good movie. It's a good entry. It does what it's supposed to. It hopefully getting people more excited as for the other two movies this year, but also to get us ready for Doomsday, where clearly Captain America is going to figure in very prominently. And it does make the case for why Sam Wilson doesn't just deserve the shield. He's earned it, and he wields it with like grace, with power, and with humanity. And I really enjoy his portrayal of Sam Wilson in this. So that's all my thoughts on this movie. And you guys can let me know what you think about this movie down in the comments. Well, and that's all of our thoughts on all of our news and our reviews this week. So, of course, maybe you have something to say about it. You want to say something good to us, troll us. Probably don't do that. I'm not going to listen to that. But if you just wanted to reach out and say something to us, you know what to do. Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. Of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram and Threads, and it is super_not_funny_show on TikTok. And while you're doing that, do me a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All of that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people see this podcast, and all of the content that we make on Blurred Force 1. And as usual, can't do this by myself. I need my good friend Corey to come in and provide all of his insight into all of this nerd stuff. Corey, thanks again for coming on. Where can they reach you on social media?
Thank you, Mo, so much, man. I appreciate it. It's always good hanging out, geeky and nerdy stuff. Anybody can find me on the interweb, Corey Roy _ Instagram, also Corey Roy _ on TikTok as well. And you can check me out on YouTube at TheGeekSpotTV. And other than that, man, like Mo said, like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's got some great stuff here.
Thank you so much for that. And thanks everybody for coming back. Episode 171 of the Supercast. Every time I say 100 and something, it's so strange to me. Like, I've been doing this for how many years now? Okay. Somehow we're still here. But again, thanks for joining us for all of this nerdy goodness. Come back next week. We are going to be talking about, I believe we're going to be previewing maybe for Daredevil. Talking about, I do want to talk about Harley Quinn some more. Just Invincible. Maybe I'll finally review Invincible. It would be nice. I don't know if you started watching it. It's heavy. First couple episodes are kind of tough. I'm just saying. I have some things to say. I need to get caught up on Invincible, so maybe we'll talk about that next week. But got plenty more, superhero news to talk about next week. So until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture. Join my good friend Corey Roy, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.